In today's episode, we are going to be adding hotkeys to our game or to our systems over here. You can see that we have hotkeys over here. Ignore those numbers. This is 3 lumber that we have. I can drag that in and out of our hotkey. I can drag in some iron. I can swap those instantly from our hotkey to our inventory. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's just get right into it. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to head into our character. So first person character for me, make a new variable. It's going to be called hotkeys. Type is going to be key and it's going to be an array. Open up your content drawer. We're going to head into our inventory folder. I'm going to make a new one called hotkeys. Instead of hotkeys, we're going to make a new one, which is going to be called hotkey bar. Inside of hotkey bar, we're going to add a wrap box. Wrap box is going to be a variable. We're going to call this one hotkey bar wrap box. Going to have a padding of 5 on the X. Over on your graph, we're going to destroy all of these. We're going to create a new custom event, which is going to be called generate hotkeys. We're also going to make a variable of href, editable, and expose that one. Grab our href, get our FP, get our inventory ref. There we go. And then get your FPP from that. Out from this one, we're going to get hotkeys. We're going to do a for each loop on the hotkeys. For each of them, we're going to create a new widget, which we haven't made yet. So let's make that. It's going to be called WBP hotkey slot. Inside of hotkey slot, we're going to add a size box. Size box is going to be 92 by 92. Inside of this one, we're going to add a border and another border. First border, brush color a little darker. We're going to add a canvas panel to our last border. On top of our canvas panel, we're going to add a image. It's going to be a bit wonky, but like so. We're going to rename this image to hotkey icon. That's not how you rename things. Hotkey icon. Compile. We're going to add a new text to our canvas panel. Size that to content. I'm going to top left on that. It's going to be variable. It's going to be hotkey text. It's going to add a number and a darkish, like so. I'm going to duplicate that. And this one is going to be quantity text. I don't know why I do camel and yeah, whatever. Move that to the bottom left. It's going to do X99 on that. Maybe a little lower, like 18. And a different color. I'm just going to do something that pops out. And the shadow up a little bit, just so it pops a little bit. Back in your hotkey bar, we're going to select our hotkey slot that we just made. And we forgot some variables in our hotkey slot, sorry. Very first one is going to be item, type master item. Next one is going to be quantity. Third one is going to be key of type key. And this one is going to be editable and exposed. And the last one is going to be our href. Back on our hotkey bar, we can refresh this node. The key comes from our array element. Loop body goes into there. Href is our href over here. And then we're going to get our hotkey wrap box. I'm going to add child to wrap box. Content is the return node of our creation. We need to set up our href. So let's head over to our WBP HUD. Inside of HUD, I'm going to add a hotkey slot. Hotkey bar, sorry, into our canvas panel. Size that to content, move it in the middle. I'm going to move this drop items a bit up. On your graph, get your hotkey bar. Set href. You could probably just plug this one in. I am just going to do a self-reference because I like to have them separated like so. Our hotkey bar has a custom event that we made previously. We're going to set this one up in our WBP HUD. So after we set our href, we're going to generate hotkeys like so. If I compile and save and hit play, nothing's actually happening. And that is because, very simple, we haven't set up our hotkeys. So head into your first person character, your array. I'm going to set up 5 for mine. So 0 to 4, that's 5. I'm going to keybind these two, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Compile and save that, hit play. There's our little hotkey. Can't do anything with it, so let's fix that. Let's make it so that you can place things inside of it. On your hotkey bar, you're going to override hotkey slot, you're going to override on drop. Inside of on drop, unplug that, move it away. The operation we're going to cast to our inventory drag drop. We're going to get the dragged item details. We're going to break that open. So if we're dropping things on our hotkey, we want to find out where it's coming from, right? So are we moving it from inside our own? So we need to set up our dragged item details for that. Inside here, add a new variable. This one's going to be called WBP hotkey slot object reference. Hotkey ref. Over on your hotkey slot, compile and save that. Break that open. Expand that. Sorry. And we want to see if it's cast to ourselves. So cast to hotkey slot. Is it inside a hotkey slot? If it's inside a hotkey slot, what we're going to do is we're going to get our item. I'm going to get our quantity. We're going to promote that to local. So local item. From is going to get ours. So what we need to do is we need to set our, after we have promoted these, we need to set our item and our quantity to the ones from the dragged item details. We want to set the item of the other one to our locals. This is if it's already there, right? Let us do a return on that maybe. We also need a update function somewhere. I can actually make that right now. So call this one custom update slot. Update slot, we're going to get our item and check if it's valid. If it's valid, we are going to get the hotkey icon. I'm going to set brush from texture on that. One in our details icon over here. And we're going to get our quantity text and we're going to set text. Compile that. If I go back to on drop and we can now call this one. So update slot. Let's keep it at casting. On the cast fail, we're going to cast to our inventory. Cast to WBP inventory slot. So on our fail, if it fails, let's do a hotkey slot, 2 of them. Okay, so first thing we need to do is actually we need to head into here and we need to remove our other one because right now we're duplicating. So if it's a hotkey slot, we're just going to update it like so. It's coming from our inventory, so we need to see if our inventory, if our item is valid. If our item is not valid, if we don't have an item that we need to swap out with, we can just set our item and our quantity to be that of the incoming item and the incoming quantity. Once that is done, we can update this slot. And we also need to update the inventory in a second. So we don't have, we need to get it from incoming. We need to get the slots, get the inventory slots. We need to remove item at index. We don't have that. Go to our BP inventory. Remove item at index. Incoming is going to be a integer of type index. Going to get our slot contents. We're going to set array element of the index to be 0 or blank. Just we don't have to do it elsewhere. We're going to get our FPP ref here. We're going to get our inventory, get our HUD, get our WP inventory, and then initialize. So back on our hotkey slot, we need to remove item at index after we have set our slot to it. So the index is going to be the incoming index, like so. And then we can also update slot. Let's give that a shot real fast. That works perfectly. Can't actually do anything with this yet. So we're gonna fix that in a minute. However, if our slot is valid, so we have something inside of our hotkey already, we want to add item at index, because I think we're using this for other things. So let's do a add item at index with quantity. This is stupid. We could just make the other one work, honestly, but we're just gonna do it like this. Input is gonna be quantity item type master item. We're gonna get our slots. We're going to set array element. After this is done, we're gonna get our FPP ref. We're gonna size that to fit. We're gonna get our HUD ref. Close that. Back on our hotkey. Now we can do our other event here. So add item at index with quantity. Okay, I see that I typed it wrong. Doesn't matter. We're gonna add our item. We're gonna add our quantity as index, our quantity at the incoming index. After that is done, we need to set our item and set our quantity to the incoming one, like so. And then we can update slot. If I add wood here and then I add iron on top of that, that's gonna swap places like so. Perfect. Doing everything we want. To do it with the chest, you already know. You just do this out from the fail, cast that to the chest, and repeat the process. What we're gonna do now is actually set up the on drag from our hotkey slot, so you can drag out from our hotkey as well. So we're gonna override on preview mouse button down. Mouse event, we're gonna detect drag if pressed. Drag key is gonna be a left mouse button. Operation return value goes into the return node. Compile that. Override another one, which is gonna be on drag detected. On drag detected, we are gonna get our pointer event. No, we're not. We're gonna get a branch. Condition is gonna be that our item is valid. Do we have anything in our slot? If we do, then we want to get our HUD ref. We want to get the Dropbox. We want to set the visibility because you might want to throw it out, right? Great. Drag visual, create widget. Drag visual. Create drag visual of the item that we have. Out from the return node, create drag drop. Return node goes into the operation. Class, inventory, drag drop. Drag that in details, you can split that open. Item comes from our item. Quantity comes from our quantity. And it doesn't come from a slot, so we don't have an index for it. However, we need to get the hotkey ref, so we can add that to self. Payload is also ourselves. And the visual is a return node of the drag visual that we just created. If you compile and save that, hit play, we can test it. We can add our things there. We can still swap it, and now we can also pick it up. If I drop it here, though, you can see that it's not working, but it is actually gone over here. So it is somewhat working. So if I do a hotkey slot like so, our item is checked. So we haven't checked that. So if the item is valid, if it's valid, we need to go ahead and do this. However, if it's not valid, we're just gonna set our item to the incoming one and set our quantity. Compile and save that, hit play. If I put it in, I can take it out. However, this is still a bit fucked. We are not nulling out the from one. So our hotkey ref, we can now set item from the one that we came from to be blank, and also set the quantity of the one that we came from to 0, and then we can update. Compile and save, because we haven't updated the other slot. We have only updated our slot. So out from it, drag it out, and we need to update both of these slots. And I'm guessing we need to do the same over here. So over on our update slot, if when we are updating, if it's not valid, we actually have to set this to blank. And then we can do the same with the quantity. So remove that and then put it there. If it's not a valid class and when we try to update it, it's gonna just disappear like so. If I drag it out though, you can see that we still have an issue. It doesn't actually remove it, and this one actually exists as well. So we need to go over to our, so right now it's checking if it's from a inventory slot. What we need to do is we need to get our payload local, and we need to check if the class, that's not how you do that. We need to get the class from the payload local. We're going to check if that is equal to our WBP hotkey slot. Just plug that in there. If it's not equal to our hotkey slot, it's most likely one of those. So we're going to do it like that. And then we're going to get our drag item details, drag local. There we go. Drag local. Is our slot valid? Right? First of all, we need this check again. Is our slot valid? Do we have something in our inventory? If we don't have anything in our slot, what we can do is we can get the one that's incoming. We can get our, this is into your inventory, so we need to get our inventory ref. Like so. We do not have anything, so we can just add item, add index with quantity. Right? The item is the incoming item. The index is our index. Compile that. And then we also need to get our hotkey ref, and we need to update slot. Actually, we need to set the item to be blank. So we just moved it. And then set the quantity to be blank as well. Then we can update the slot. This is if it's not a valid slot. So if we don't have anything in it, let's do that. Do it quick test. We can add it here and we can move it back and forth. However, if we do have a valid one, so nothing's going to work. So what we need to do then is we have our dragged one here. So we need to set our slot. We need to get the key. We need to set item at the hotkey, and then we need to set quantity at the hotkey. The quantity and the item comes from our item and our quantity. We're going to remove and then add, I think. I think that's how we're going to do it. So we're going to remove item at index. The index is going to be my index. After that's done, we're going to add item at index with quantity. At my index, item comes from the dragged and quantity comes from the dragged. After this is done, we can update slot. Balance save, hit play, drag it in, can drag it out. I can, well, theoretically swap. Let's get a different item. I can swap these two around, and I can swap these two around. There we go. That is how you will add your hotkey. Let me know if there's anything else I can help with, and yeah, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.